Hello, hello, Rhoda here. Welcome to my craft room. Today is another day for Junk Journal January. And I told you the other day I get kind of anxious because I haven't got caught up yet and the month is running out. And anyway, so I'm going to do a bit of a cheat. I don't know if you'd call it that, but I'm going to do 16, 17, and 18 as one page. So unfold, fragile, and bright. So I've got all of that together here. We're going to have a little bit of mixed media put in here because I'm going to do some, it's a wax melt, a wax seal kit. And I'm going to do that with the butterfly. And I've got gold, which is a type of bright. And the unfolding part will come from this, which will be the background paper. It's this napkin someone gave me. I don't know if Tommy, you gave this to me or not, but I'm going to use this as my background. And as you can see where one of the actual feathers is at, you know I love peacocks. I'm going to actually take a peacock feather, which is what? Fragile. So that is going to be my fragile part, and I'm going to kind of overlay it onto here. Now, I'm also going to be doing more for the bright part, which I'm thinking I'll get some of my foil paper out in there, maybe a gold, because that'll go really well with this. And there's sort of an outline here. And I'll probably put that in the background or something and lay the feather over top. Something like that. I had this stamp here, but I don't know that I'm going to mess with it. I think I am going to use the Creativity Takes Courage. I am going to use that. So, all right, let's get to it. Let me get the paper. All right, here is my book. Let me unfold it here to where I need it. I'll do a quick little flip through as I'm going. And that one's a little crooked. And then I really love that green with this background. And then we have, yeah, our butterfly girl. So this is the page that we're going to cover. And I'm going to just kind of pull that out. That's got my little tooth fairy children on it. All right, I'll set that to the side. We're also going to need a paper for this. Okay, and boy, this will fill the bill for bright. This is that really shiny gold foil. So that's what I'm going to use to cut out this right here. Let's see what I've got up in here, because I think that Miss Celeste sent this to me. She's woodland inspired, and she was sending me a few pieces that she said that she had actually ordered doubles of. So she thankfully sent me a few goodies. I really like the peaky design there, because this kind of reminds me of Pakistani or, you know, over in the Middle East kind of look. Oh, let me reach over you there. Get some of this. And we're going to put this on right here. And I'm going to go cut it out real quick on my die cut machine. And I'll be right back. The only problem was, as you can see, it did not cut out the inside. And I thought it was. So let me go ahead and get the next piece in and see if that'll do the trick. So I'm going to actually pull this off. Take this and put it over here, and then we're going to come back in with this one and see if it's going to cut this inside out. It should. I'm hoping it does. All right, trying to get it centered. That's what you have to watch out sometimes with your pieces in your die cut sets, to see exactly what they will do, what they cut out, if they're only doing like a cut through. So I'm hoping this will do the trick. Okay, nope. All this one did was give me a cut through with a design. Well, I guess the next piece is what I need. Goodness gracious, y'all. And then I've got like a little gritty kind of a thing here. Now I've got a bunch of stuff stuck up in here. Sometimes you can tap it. Sometimes I have to use my pokey tool. I still see a whole bunch up in there. All of those little dots. Okay. I was hoping this would be like more of a see-through. And you just had the outline of it. Okay, and as yet you can see, it still didn't cut out all of the middle. I guess it just kind of cuts out shapes and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around this inside area here and cut out this part. And I'm just going to go down through here and just cut this away from this inside solid strip. And then I'll be back. Alright, let's see if that did the trick. Now you can use scissors if you needed to, instead of what I just did with the X-Acto knife. I may find a few pieces or things in here. Like I've got a little heart right there. That's kind of cute. And another one here and here. So you might find things to use out of this at a later date. And I wanted to thank everyone for coming to visit. I forgot to tell you that. I'm always getting right into it. And yeah, I really thank you for coming by. Hope everyone's doing well. Gets a few ideas from what I'm doing today. And I'm usually working with 2 or 3 words for a prompt or for a challenge. As it is, I'm not used to having just a single. So I guess that's another thing. I'm more used to combining. I get more fun out of combining. Okay, whoops. There we go. That straightened up a few little pieces and parts there. So now we are going to get this out of the way, and we're going to cover our back and see if we can still get this to work in there somehow. So this was the unfold part, and I really want to use this side of it. I really like this lighter one. Well, actually, I got one on the other side, don't I? Whoops. I got one right here that we could use, and I think I need to cut it right up through here. I'm trying to cut it along that wrinkle to make sure I get it as straight as possible. There we go. And I think I used some of those in my peacock journal. Some of these pictures here. Now I like that this is right in the center. I think I still got a little bit to cut off over there. This will be right above there. And a little bit more on this side. Yeah, I've always loved peacocks. I guess because of the combination of the colors. I'm loving the purple, the blues, the teals. All of those cool colors are kind of, they're relaxing to me. I know some of you probably love, my mom loves red. I don't know if it's a relaxing color to her, but that is one of her favorite colors. That might be one of the reasons why she likes Christmas so much. I don't know. Now we're going to see if we can get this off. Let's see which way this right side is up. There we go. So usually you can use a Scotch tape to pull the layers off. I may need, no I don't. This one's kind of well worn, so it's already coming apart a little bit. So there we go. Now I can use those to wipe off the nose of my glue and all that kind of stuff. Now this is the right side, right? Making sure I've got the right side of the paper to use. Is it that side? I think it's this side. Oh, good thing I looked, because I would have been out of sequence. Okay. There we go. Now we're going to put the glue stick down, and then we're going to get in here and possibly put down a little bit of wet glue along the edges. I usually like to do it this way, especially when you got like a delicate piece, because this is my unfolding part, but it also could be considered fragile as well. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I can tell you about my schooling and stuff. I've got a book today, a portfolio that I'm going to be using to show you some of my, it's kind of a mixture. I mean, it's got some of my earlier work in it, and it's also got some of my college work in it. So I don't know exactly how to express what time period to talk about today. But I think I've already gotten through all of my high school year stuff. But yeah, in college, I was, like I was telling you, in Dr. Hendricks' class, and, well, not in her class, I was in the yearbook part of it that she was over as part of her job. And I don't think I could have took her math class. She was in that really high up kind of math. I don't think my mind could have dealt with that kind of thing. But, oh, and then she had these people that would come in and see her in her office, and it would, be stuff about the class, and I'm gonna actually use the other glue for this. And boy, some of them she would get all over them because they weren't like either reading the assignment or something. Ooh, but it was fun. I mean, that first year, all I did was type, and but I got to see, how they did it and all that. I'm never good in English, so I don't know how I survived it. I know she proofed everything, so that helped me out. Because, I always wanted to write. I had thought about doing a children's book and things like that, or, doing my own illustrations on a book, but I just never got around to being able to do anything like that. I just wasn't that able to write. Some of you out there have told me that you have written as part of your, either as a hobby or just in general, with something for yourself, or trying to get a book off and popular. I know you can go to Amazon. Isn't it Amazon you can go to and sell your book, and then they sell it on there, and I guess they get like a profit off of it. I never could think of anything I wanted to write. I mean, it would have been science fiction, of course. No doubt there. But I had more fun reading other people's, I guess that's where cutting all the jiggy-jaggy off of it there. But yeah, I had decided that I was more in the market for reading someone else's. All right, now what I want to do here, and see, that's going to cover up. That's what I didn't want to do, is cover up that peacock feather, but maybe I can point it in the other direction. And maybe I could put it over to that side. Who knows? And then this one is going to go on here. And I'll probably have to curl it around and trim off the little feather pieces and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that might work. And then where the glue melt, or the wax seal, is going to come in, I think I'm going to go over part of the feathers to to help hold them down. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. And of course, I've got some of these little doodaddies that didn't come out of the holes, but I'm not worrying with picking through all them right at the moment. I think I actually picked them out and then they're back in there again. Okay, I think I got enough glue on here, and I knocked out a couple of those pieces that didn't come out for me before. Okay. But it was really interesting. That I learned a lot, you know, just by being in that work. I think it was called a work study program. If anybody else has been in college and had like where they would give you work on the campus kind of thing, and you got paid through that. I only got 10 hours a week, so we really had to do what we could do to get the money's worth out of it. But yeah, it was interesting to learn how to develop film. I got to go around and do all kinds of fun things, like especially when I got to the point where I was part of the camera, picture taking part of the class. I'm going to cut it off right there. There's not really anything else here. I don't know that I could keep any of those little things. They've got a bit of color on them, but not much. So I'll probably just get rid of that. And then I'm going to trim these at an angle, I think, going up through here. Because I don't need it to be that long. Whoop, I'm not even cutting it. It's going against the scissors. I remember one time we had a class of they're firefighters. We had the cops training there on campus. They had their own building like up behind the main college. And then I think there was firefighters that trained there as well. And this one time they wanted me to come down and take photos of them. I think it was it a car? A van? There was something they were burning. And so the firefighters had to learn how to put that out. So I got a chance to go down there. I tell you, those flames went so far up in the air. Look, I got little pieces that's sticking out to the side. I might just let that go. I might just go with it. So I'm trying to figure out here how I want to do that. And it may come down to where that's where our wax melt's coming in. I don't know that I want to actually glue that. I think I'm going to use the wax melt to actually hold this down. So I'm going to go ahead and cap my glue for right now. Now you could probably get in here if you didn't want to do wax melt and do, I got my butterfly, like washi tape. I'm sure washi tape would hold this down. But putting glue on a feather, I just don't know about. Okay. So I got to figure out where I want to put this drop. And I think I'm going to drop it right there. Although I wouldn't mind having a little bit of it. I'm going to put the saying right there. Oh gosh, I'm putting this stuff all over the place that I don't want it to be. So I've got bright on here in several different ways. And I hope this doesn't chew up this feather. You know. And you're supposed to put like a coin size dollop of wax here. So that's why I keep going and going. All right. Hope the fire alarm or the fire thingy doesn't go off. Smoke detector. Ooh. Ooh, yeah, okay. I licked my finger and put that out. All right, and then this is supposed to sit on here for a little bit. I got a few drops on there, but that's okay. It's kind of like, you know, dropping some paint on there. So next we're going to work on the phrase. All right, I've got it on my stamp block, and we're going to use our VersaFine Pigment Ink Onyx Black, and we're going to stick that on here. Creativity takes courage. It took courage for me to put the wax on the feather. It took courage for me to keep going when the center wasn't cut out of this one. So it's just it is pretty much full full wheel or full circle. There we go. Full circle. So it could mean many things. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut this down quite a bit to right there. Try to get as straight as I can. I do want to cut off a little bit more on the edges. Do that on this side as well. And then do I need to cut a little bit off the top? I think so. Okay. The angle, the way the word is up there on the top, is kind of throwing me. But I believe this is a perfect square. Let's do it like here. Right? The top might be just a little wonky. There we go. Now, and then I want to put this down on here because that color is sort of in a peacock. Oh, teal. So we're going to go with that. Let's see. I was in Who's Who, in one of the Who's Who books. I don't know why. I don't know why. Probably Dr. Hendricks put me in it. I didn't think my grades were that great. Although I was on that one list for a long time. I can't remember what it's called, but where your grades are 4.0 or something. It wasn't going to get me anywhere in life. I was just having fun. Oh my goodness. Okay. So there's what we got for that. Okay, now we're going to take this off and see what we got. Ooh, I see a butterfly. I probably could have used a little bit more wax. And I'm wondering if I can get back in there and fix that, or if it's just the feather itself that's hindering me. So it's on there. That wax is holding it down really, really good. So we're going to go ahead and just put our phrase on there. And I'm going to see about squishing it up underneath some of this part, because you can see through it. Well, like right there. Let me see if I can get the rest of these feathers out in time. I think that's where they're stuck behind. Crap. There, I need to move it up just a little bit. There. Now, go down. There we go. Yeah, these feathers were stuck because of the wax melts. So then you can comb them out and get them to fluff a little bit better. All right, let's put this in our book and see what we got. I'm not sure what the deal is with the little feather tufts, if we're going to be able to leave them as is. Yeah, see the little wax melt. I don't know if I could have put more wax in there. I really don't know. I don't mess with wax melts that much, but they are really, really fun. Oh, you're also able to, let me see if I can do that. You're also able to put like a color on top. All right, I got my iced espresso metallic luster out, and we're going to try to do that. And you got to just get just a little bit on your finger. I got that there to rub my finger off on. And I'm going to rub it on the top of that butterfly and see if it'll stand out. Don't know if it's dark enough. I don't think it is. Let me try something else. All right, I'm going to try this Lucky Clover Distress Paint. Now, Distress Paint is pretty cool. I have opened this, haven't I? Yeah. It's pretty cool because it dries permanent. So we're going to put a little bit there, and I'm going to rub it out as well. I don't want it to be a very thick coating. And I'm going to just dab at it. And see that butterfly is picking up that color of that paint, which is also in that feather. That's what attracted me to it. Now, of course, wax is usually hard to get anything to stick to, but I think Distress Paint got a little bit more oomph to it. So, yeah. And this will make my butterfly stand out a little bit more. I am noticing I'm having to go over it a couple times to get the thickness on there that I'm wanting. And I think that's it. Ooh, that was bright. I've got right where that's that vein of that feather goes through there, it kind of messes it up. Okay, and our last little thing to add, and I usually don't do bling, but I got these little guys from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use that light purple in a few spots. It just needs a few things in a few places to add to it. I don't know if I'll be adding more. I do like this green one, so I think I'll add that green one right here. I think it's the only green one I got left. That one right there. I had some bigger ones, but they are just too big. And then maybe one up here at the very top. Okay. So, let's see what we have here for you to look at. And we had for our things unfold, which was the napkin. I unfolded it. That a cheat. Fragile, which is the feather and the napkin. And then we have bright, which is the little frame here and the wax melt. So let me hold that up so you can see it a little closer. As you can see, some of the little fronds need probably to be combed out. I don't know how they'll act once they're in this book. And then once I put it in the book, I'm going to see how this looks over here, if that needs to be trimmed off. But there we go. There is our feather, who's kind of mimicking that feather that's up there, and this one down here as well. And there's our butterfly that got the Lucky Clover on top of it. That really looks like a close match to that. So I hope you like that. We did a few different things today. We did the wax melt and we did the bling. So I hope that was a couple of extra things that you hadn't seen from me yet in the mixed media department. And you enjoyed that. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and circle our 3 things that we have completed in the one make. 16, 17, 18. So, there we go. Bubble and tissue. Bubble. I got to think about that. I think I've got a few things that I could put on a page that has to do with bubble. Okay, this is the last that I got on this page here. It sticks out, but I think it's going to be okay. I think it's kind of cute. So we are going to leave it. What do you think? Kind of goes to the front page. All right, let me get my desk cleared off, and I'll be back with one of my portfolios. All right. This is one of the smaller ones that I've got. This is a 9 by 12 size. So it's almost in screen because the bottom's right there. Um, so this was a piece that I did in 1980. And we had to take a half of a, what do you call it, magazine page. And then you could see the glue behind it. You can see the streaky part of the glue. And we had to take and make a chalk pastel drawing and complete it again. We had to cut it in half and complete it. And you can see how I have such a tendency to enlarge. See how much larger her eye is? And the face, I don't think I enlarged as much, but the hair got enlarged. So I can't help it. I just have this thing where it enlarges in my head. Now this is my least favorite of anything in art. It was abstract. Anything abstract, it just doesn't appeal to me. So what we had to do was we sat in front of a mirror and we could put our pencil down using our eyes onto the sheet, but then we had to look up at the mirror and we had to draw. Like I had to draw my nose and my eyebrows without looking at it. And then I had to draw my eyes without looking at it. I mean, the whole thing I couldn't look at. I don't know how I got an A. I had braces back then, so I think I got the braces on there pretty good. And then here is me. It's a self-portrait in 1980 as well. Is that was like my 9th year, I think. No, I graduated in 82, so this was 10th grade. This was 10th grade. So I always like these big, huge glasses. And my eyes, remember I told you, eyes are usually one eye width apart. Well, I was generous with myself because my eyes are usually a little closer together than that. Oh, and I know you've seen this. This is the chalk pastel that I made for Mom. And I guess I did it about that time period too. And then this was Lori Ann and Tamara. I know I showed her. I think these were oil pastels. I'm pretty sure that one and this one are something called oil pastels. Let me pull those out and show you. And check it. I've still got my box from way back then. It was Grumbacher oil pastels. I don't even know the date, but I've got Diane Markham period 6 on there. And I know I had that on some of my artwork. But the way oil pastels are, it's saying oil painting with a stick. But, yeah, these are old as Methuselah. Do I have a date anywhere? Nowhere. I'm not seeing anything. Usually you would, but it's showing you different ways that you can use it. I don't think I ever used it in any other way but to write. Let me see if I can get a piece of paper out here. Put it on a piece of paper and I would smear it. Like you'd color it down like that. Now you could use one of those sticks to color or smear it around with, but I used to just use my finger, just like that. And see how you can kind of smear it out? I think you might be able to put something on a brush and get it to brush out a little further. If you wanted a couple of colors to blend, you kind of put them side by side and sort of blend them together. That's how I would do it too. But it does get on your finger. But other than that, it's kind of a cool media to use. And I used to use it all the time back then when I wanted some color. Now this here was another assignment in class. Let me see if I can pull that out and get a little closer. This is where we had to take a magazine and cut up all these different pieces to make a picture. So I was pretending this woman was doing her face in her mirror, and she had her perfume and her fingernail polish. She had different pictures up around her mirror. there's her clocks and flowers, and then there was her. So that's kind of what I did for that. And, oh, I know you've seen Shangri-La. She's one of my favorites. That is oil pastel. And then that's how I got kind of the filmy, like netting, or not netting, but like the little sheer that's on her face. That's what helps make it kind of look sheer. I know you saw that one as well. And that was my geometry assignment. I know you saw that. Now, this is where I was doing stuff for the, what do you call it? The bulletin boards that at Oak Hill Nursing Home when I was an activity assistant. So I would make up all these letters and pictures and stuff to go along with it. This was 1984. And this was, of course, Valentine's Day was the major thing there. So I drew these little high school girl and boy, and then, you know, the letters or numbers themselves, like that was 2 hearts. The 0 was a heart. So I kind of played around with my numbers and letters and things like that. Now, this is getting into the door for Dr. Hendrix's office and the yearbook room. So, I don't know. This was probably 1990 or 91. It was one or the other. But this was all of our names. There's me. That's all the ones that were in here. This, of course, was Valentine's Day. And, of course, I drew all that up and everything. Had a little guy here. See how long his arm is there? For there. And I had a few others. Let me see. I had another one for Easter over on my computer, but it's not very, clear. The photo wasn't very clear. So now this here, there was something about donating your time. We could donate some of our time weekly to get credit at the college. So I went down, and it was like Desert Storm. I don't know if y'all remember that, but that was way back, God, way back there. But Desert Storm was happening. There was something that I did there with that. And then they wanted to know if I could paint on walls. And I said, yeah. So I came up with this, where it's a castle, a pool or a moat, a unicorn, and a dragon up above the bulletin board. So this is what I come up with. I think it was children. It was elementary school. There's the unicorn, and then there's the castle. And I can't remember this elementary school. This was in 1990. So that's the bad part. I can't remember the school. Now here's some of my paintings, acrylics. You know, I wasn't that happy to do still lifes. I wasn't into that. I can tell you that. Now I'll probably pull these out later once I get into my big portfolios. But this was supposed to be me. And then I loved water and rainbows, and I guess that would be considered money. I don't know. And so this is my cat Button. You've seen Button mentioned a few times. I loved horses. I loved art, Spanish. That was again for water. Sun, reading, burgers, Pern. Now that's the Dragon Riders of Pern. Okay, I've got a pear and an apple tree because I always felt like I was out of place. I never felt like I always thought I was adopted even. I don't know. I just never felt like I was where I was supposed to be, I guess. I've got a moon here. I think I like constellations, so maybe the moon had something. Now, this is Mountain and Dew. Mountain Dew. I loved Mountain Dew. It's probably went a long way to ruining my teeth. So, anyhow, this was also for college. And there was a thing that they talked about where you took shapes to create things in nature. So this is my play on that because I've got I don't know if you call those elliptical or whatever you call that for the clouds. I have a diamond for a star, a sphere for the moon or the sun. I have a cone. Now these are 3D. They should be 3D, not flat. So that's why it's a sphere and not a circle. And this is not a triangle, it's a cone. As you can see on the bottom, it's curved. I also have a half circle here. And I have cubes for rocks. and, and more spheres for bubbles. Okay. Then this one, what was the assignment for this? I think you had to take 1-inch squares and you had to grid off, this was in 1990. And I had to grid off the whole, like this was acrylic as well. This was also. And then you had to have a different color in each block, but make a scene. So I've got a unicorn in like a bunch of trees, and then you've got like a fog coming up around it. That's what I come up with that. Oh, crazy, crazy assignments. Now this was also an acrylic, a horse that I got out of Horse of Course magazine. And this used to be in the stairwell down at Dad's. I think I gave it to Dad. And I know you saw this one. This was the Black Stallion. That was also acrylic. I think you've seen these people before. Here was like an assignment with still life. So had an eggshell and an acorn. That's smeared a little bit. And then a bottle. I guess I didn't do the bottle quite well enough because you're supposed to be able to tell that it's... I probably needed another shine mark or something on here. Now this was a horse. My brother was dating this girl and she had a horse. And she wanted me to do, I think it's a watercolor of it. But there was the photo. Of course it's fuzzy. You can't really see it that well. But that was part of my time period when I was doing things, you know, I was trying to make a living, I guess, at it. Now, this one I'll probably show you the big one of, but I love this one. But I tried to go out and see if I could get copies made where I could sell them. And I had people telling me that they didn't think it would sell very well because of the color scheme that I use. They said yellows and purples are not something that people usually have, especially if they would have put it in their living room. So the only other thing I could thought to have done is go over the yellow and make it more of a brown dirt or something. Or give it a bit of a green. It's supposed to be desert because it's got cactuses on it. So that was the only thing there. I loved how the horses turned out though. They're both quarter horses, I believe. That was 1989. And this here, I think it's 1990. 89 and 90 must have been when I was in art class, I'm guessing. But this is supposed to be Lady Godiva riding on her horse through the town. And it's no new taxes. So. I used to do a lot of lighthouses, so I love lighthouses. That's another thing I love. So this is 1987, a watercolor of Bodie. Not a very clear picture. They never are they? All right, and this is 1990. This is my little kitty Skid. I think her name was Scooter. We called her Skid. All right, here is a copy of the natural bridge that I did. And it was in, it was 11th grade. And this was from the House of Delegates, Shad Solomon's office. And his legislative assistant wrote me this letter. But I think they were returning it or something. Oh, yeah, they took a while to send it back because the lady that was handling it moved away. And they couldn't locate my address. Oh, we enjoyed having your painting in Richmond, and Mr. Solomon said to be sure to tell you that Natural Bridge drew many compliments and was a favorite of many visiting the office. And then I think I got a certificate here too. for doing it. 15th District Art Contest. That's what it was. All right. And I got his signature here, which is kind of cool. Then we have Snooper. He was one of our other kitties, Snoopers. He loved getting under the Christmas tree and kind of root around in all the packaging and everything. This is a watercolor. I always loved it. I thought it turned out pretty good. He was white mostly with yellow. So you can't quite see, but you know, you kind of see his little tufty chest down in there. And he had yellow eyes. He had eyes about that color. I think I showed this to you already, the horses. I know I showed that one to you. And then I know I showed that one to you. Now here's where I was doing some more watercolor. That was in 2002. So I was drawing, this is the girl I went to North Carolina and we were rooming together for a while. But that was my take on her face. So that was a watercolor I did of her. And, oh, I might have to take the phone off and take you over there. But we used to have, there was an office. I think there's nothing else in here. There was a building that we had a fountain in. She had MS. So there was a fountain down there. And people could throw money in it. And we could collect the money and then donate that to the MS Society. But around the area there were all these little stores and things, mostly like, you know, just odds and ends kind of thing, or they had a craft type of thing that they were selling. And I think we had a store there as well. But there were, and I think in Thornwood is where we had like a little area. It's where you could rent different little booths. And that was where ours was. And that's what this says, Thornwood. Or Thistlewood. I'm sorry. Thistlewood. Get it right, Rhoda. So this was in 2006. So there were panels outside of each one of the rooms that the stores were in. And you could paint on them. So she got me to paint. And as you can see, there was different layers that I was going for. And I was creating a thistle field and a little bit of a scene behind. So let me go over to the computer because I've got more there. Okay, I'm not sure if that was the very first one I was showing you, but that was where I kind of like put my base colors down. That may have been as well. And then I started layering on more things. You can see I put a fence in behind. I've got more leaves on the trees. I started putting in the arbor, the roses on the arbor. And yeah, oh, that's better. Some different things there on the tree. A few little flowers on the fence back there. And also on the rocks and the thistles, I was starting to build up more. And let's see. That one, I think, was the same. It was... I think that's the same one. It's just a different angle. Yeah, I think there I was just taking some close-ups. So maybe that is all I did to it. Oh, okay. Oh, I don't know if I ever showed you this, but that's where I was doing Glassner Jewelers. What is that date? 1980, I think. But that was my drawing for Glassner Jeweler when I was doing that outside. I had a frog hanging over here from a noose, a bat, a cat, skeleton with a cleaver in his head. I had these two boys, and I guess I was sweet on them because those were the two that got put on the tombstones. That one has a vulture and some little demon creatures, a howling dog. Yeah, look, they're coming out of the you know where. I have fingers coming out from the grave. Oh gosh, I have a little angel on top there, but it was just okay. I never got that finished. I hated that. And then that was the paper from Glassner of Jewelers. And many thanks for your fine painting job on our Halloween window. Thought it was excellent. We had a lot of compliments. Also, we were disappointed that you were not a winner. I didn't win a winner because I couldn't finish it. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, everybody, I hope you have a great, great day. I'll see if there's more things I could show you at another time. I do have another lighthouse on here. It's not very clear though. I mean, back then I didn't have a good camera, so I wasn't able to give any good shots. All right. Well, thank you for coming by and visiting on subscribers and viewers. I really appreciate you. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye bye.